in 3, 2, 1.
John, are we live?
We are live, sir.
John, welcome to WheelHouse. This is our 10th episode. John, it's pretty cool because the next number changeover from 2 digits is 100. So if we can make it 90 more, we'll be there.
We will indeed.
We got a kick butt show today. I cannot wait to talk to these two guests. We got Trevor from the Chicago helicopter experience, which is the coolest thing, and the business background behind it is even cooler. So we're going to talk to him in a second here. We got Jamie Z back on again. But as always, John has cool shout outs. I have no shout outs again this week. So John, can they see you? I think they can see you now. Give them your cool shout outs.
All right. Actually, I have a few.
Look at that. And I have none still.
People like you, it's okay. So the first shout out goes to my mom. Her birthday is tomorrow. It's the craziest thing, Mo, because, I'm a little bit older than you.
A little bit.
My mom, though, somehow, I want to make sure that I'm on, is turning 29. Again, she's been turning 29. She's got it down pat. She's doing great. So happy birthday, Mom. And I'll see you over the weekend. And secondly, I know we talked last week. We talked about Maggie's dad. He had a pavilion. I'm going to pull up a video that I did.
I saw some of the photos and videos of you guys there. It was awesome. Right. Very cool.
I'm going to put this on. And on the screen, people are seeing. I couldn't believe how many people came out for this. The weather was terrible, but there were so many people from the neighborhood. Handshakes, hugs. He gave a great speech. The mayor of Willowbrook came out and just gave a wonderful speech about Doug. The pavilion itself is beautiful. The park itself is beautiful. And it's got his name right on there. So it's going to live from now until the end of days. Everybody's going to know the work that this gentleman's done. So it's really, really cool. Congratulations, Doug. And I think that's really about it as far as the shout-outs. How was your weekend, sir?
It was good. It was quiet. I worked a little bit. In real estate, weekends aren't really weekends. We're just stuck working. My basement flooded, which stunk. No. I slipped and ate shit in the basement trying to clean it up. I thought I broke my arm. I was laying there like just helpless. I was like, I think I broke my arm. Luckily, I didn't. But that was my weekend. It wasn't so bad, other than the flood.
It doesn't sound that great.
No, you know what it is. I got to the point being a homeowner now. I don't want to scare people into not buying homes, but that stuff, it shit happens. I mean, it was a pretty bad rainstorm, and I got a little bit of water. Falling wasn't the best part, but what can you do?
No, you're all right now, though.
Well, happy birthday to your mom, and congratulations to Maggie's dad. I saw the stuff from this weekend. That's really cool. The fact that he's given so much of his life to donating time and charitable work. I mean, kudos to him. So he deserves it.
The speech the mayor gave, I didn't realize how long he had been doing all of this work for the community. 40 years.
Wow.
He's been on the park board, longest standing park board member, and just nonstop. So.
Oh, congratulations to him. I'm going to get to our first guest. We spoke yesterday on the phone, and it was pretty cool. I joke, and a lot of people who are watching, who are my buddies on Facebook and stuff, see me all the time. There's an ongoing joke that I'm always stuck in traffic. So there's all these Facebook pictures I have of me stuck in traffic, and I always have the tagline, I wish I had a helicopter. This guy sat in traffic and then said, I wish I had a helicopter, but he's that much cooler than me because he actually went out and got a helicopter. I haven't done it yet. So now I got to scrape together some dough so I can go get a helicopter, or I got to charter a helicopter through them from now on. Trevor, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Tell everybody what Chicago Helicopter Experience is and how it started, because it's a fascinating story.
Sure. So what Chicago Helicopter Experience is a epic, unique way to experience the city of Chicago. You do it from a helicopter, and you fly across the skyline, taking in the views, whether it's day or night. Each one's a unique experience. And we are really focused on the experience as a whole. So it's pretty unique, fun, exhilarating time with us. And how it started was really very organically, as you just mentioned. It really started out of a need, and I was traveling from the city to a northern suburb, and the drive was taking way too long, and so I ended up taking flight lessons and got a helicopter, and ended up in that process, just learning so much about the helicopter industry or lack thereof in Chicago. There was no helicopters at all, nowhere to land in the city, no helicopter access, nothing. So saw a natural void in the market, and then it just from there sort of started organically to manifest itself into what it is today. There's a lot of work and hoops and things in between then and now.
I can imagine.
But that's where the idea kind of came from and how it started.
That's crazy because we talked to a lot of business owners on here, and they're like, yeah, we haven't had a sandwich shop owner, but take that for example. I had a passion for it and I opened a sandwich shop. I can't imagine how many loops and hoops you had to jump through to be able to actually get to the point that you can fly and land helicopters around Chicago, especially post 9/11, being able to fly an airplane near a city.
Fortunately, when I started, I was 26, and I just had no clue. Because if I did, I don't think I would have done it. So I was very fortunate in that sense. All I knew is that it made sense and that I could do it, so I just started doing it. And I always tell people that I didn't know I couldn't build a heliport, so I did. It was really that simple. Now, looking back in hindsight, it was a very big undertaking, just to be able to have an FAA registered company that can fly people for hire is a whole process in itself. To be able to get the aircraft and the pilots and mechanics and that whole world is something totally separate from acquiring land and zoning and PD approval and city, everything just to get the land approved to be it, let alone then the construction of it, the regulations involved from a city, state, and federal level for it to be approved as an airport. So what it is, an airport. It was a lot. It was a lot of different things. So some people are like, one of the biggest things is it would make sense that you go to approach the city, say, here's what I want to do. They say yes, and then you go do it. Well, that was not the case at all. I had to go buy the 5 acres in downtown Chicago, and then spend 2 years trying to get it approved with my fingers crossed. So if it didn't get approved, you have this land, you're carrying the cost of it, and then you had to do construction for another year. And then, so it took a lot of time, money, sacrifice, and commitment to see it through.
Yeah.
But like I said, in the moment when you're going through it, you're just come to the next obstacle and figure out how to overcome that. And you don't see the 700 behind it. So you just take it one at a time. And over a matter of, I'm in our 7th year now, and we're just 7 years later, just literally starting. Like today, I actually thought about my business. Like, how can I get more customers?
Yeah,
that's never even been part of my life for 7 years. It's been about, I got to get this paperwork over and this filed, and red tape and logistics and finances. And so it's been actually really nice lately to actually come to work and think about how to grow the business.
That's so cool. For those of you who are just opening an LLC and worried about filing the LLC and then opening your bank accounts and starting, this is sometimes what it takes to be successful as a business owner. It's insane that, like you said, it's been 7 years of you grinding through things, not knowing that there's going to be 100 obstacles behind it. But we've talked to a couple successful business owners here in the last 10 episodes, and literally the same common theme pops up, that they have to go from hardship or failure to another hardship to another hardship to another hardship. I think what separates people like you who are obviously successful to people who quit is they get to a certain threshold of hardships and they're like, I'm done. I'm not going to do it anymore. But I can't even imagine, even being a business owner, going through all of what you just went through. And you have a heliport now. So so what did you have to do with the heliport?
So I would fly around. I used to fly from where I flew and had my helicopter was south of the city in Lansing, and I would fly north to our farm, and so I'd fly by the city. So as people would fly with me, they'd see it from the air, and everyone thought it was cool, and people started asking to go for rides, and I'm like, oh man, this doesn't exist here. I should do it, assuming that there was a heliport in places to land. And then as I started looking into that, realizing, wait, there's nowhere you can land. Well, that's stupid. Every other city has it, so I'll build a heliport, and that's how it kind of organically started to happen. But the site itself, I used to fly around myself and just look for places I think I could get into, like with the helicopter I could land at in the city. And I found this site along the river, and it was big enough. I had clear approaches. It was protected by the airspace was protected because it's along the highway and the railroad tracks in the river. So you're not going to put a high rise on the river or something. So private airports don't have airspace protection. So you can't put a high rise in front of O'Hare.
Right.
But so there's a lot of even little detail you had to learn and figure out so you don't screw yourself.
Yeah.
So so after that happened, I drove up and it was for sale. And then I had to figure out how to get it under contract without, basically anything you need to get something under contract.
Yeah.
Money, the name, it was owned by a very big conglomerate, and if I said, "Hey, I'm 25, I'm going to build a heliport," they laughed at me. So everything from day one was a chess match. I had to develop LLCs and put it under contract to other names, posing as a warehouse manufacturer, and all sorts of games to achieve the end goal. So I always tell people it was very much a chess match. I never went out and said, "Here's what I'm going to do." I would figure out what I needed to do to get to where I wanted to be, which was very different than like a straight line approach,
right.
Which would have never worked, whether it was city approvals or even acquiring the land in that sense. So it was a big approach. So I ended up, I have 5 acres now. We have 800 feet of river frontage on the south branch of the Chicago River. So
cool.
We're right at Halstead and Archer. We have the Halstead Orange Line stop. We're a few blocks away from McCormick Place. Really good location, and clear flight pass in and out. And the first step was it was sort of an abandoned vacant lot, bunch of trees and power lines and things. So we had to get it cleared off to put the basics down, which is the fuel tanks, the concrete landing areas, and some structures to process customers in. Very basic to get us going. And in doing so, start proving the business model and the concept, developing the business processes, the efficiencies necessary to be successful, the relationships, partnerships, earning the city's trust, lots of work. So the first 3 years, we're in our 4th summer now from downtown. I started the company flying out of Chicago Executive Airport on the north side.
Yeah, Wheelie.
And while I was out there for about 3 years, I was going through the city approval process. And then once that was done, moved to the city. This is our 4th summer now in the city. And like I said, this is the first summer that it's been about the business.
That's
when we
cool.
first opened, and those first 3 years were, appeasing all the parties that be, and, whether it was the local community or politics or FAA or state of Illinois or, to everything to the environmental issues, being on the river, all sorts of stuff. So kind of been through that gauntlet now, and everyone now realizes that we're not destroying anyone's lives and we don't have any complaints, and this actually isn't such a horrible thing. And so, which has been a relief, and now it gives me a little more time to spend on our experience and sharing the product with the world and getting people down there to experience it. So
it's such a cool experience, and I've never been in a helicopter. I like cars. I race cars, so I think flying, we talked off the air, would be kind of the next progression for me. What I thought was so cool was what you just alluded to and we spoke about yesterday, was how you were looking for places to land a helicopter. I never knew that you could actually just land a helicopter within certain guidelines, but relatively unrestricted compared to what I think most people think the restrictions
I was surprised too, and everyone I talked to so surprised. Generally speaking, you can land anywhere in at least in Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin, Indiana with the property owner's permission. So within the city limits of Chicago, you can't. So my place is the place you can land. But when you get into anywhere else in the state, and that's why we have to deal with the state of Illinois, even though we're in Chicago, the state ultimately has its own rules. So we have an approved heliport, so it's an airport. However, any property owner has a right to let us land in their backyard if it's big enough and it's safe.
I have an acre. Can we land?
So we do that. We pick people up literally we'll land in their front yard, and they'll get in and
get out of town
for dinner. And I myself have flown and landed in friends, relatives' backyards, had dinner and flown back to the city. So,
I'm not kidding you. I am landing a plane in my backyard.
Yeah, it used to be that way, and then as the business got bigger and bigger and bigger, I haven't flown in like 6 months now, and I seem to never be able to fly. But no, it is cool, and those are some of the special experiences. So we do tours. Yeah, we have a lot of unique experiences that we offer on that side of things, charters and landing in some pretty special places. A lot of golf courses, a lot of homes.
So tell me about kind of the passion of flying, because did you start with helicopters, or were you airplane then helicopters?
Always helicopters. My mission was to be able to fly from downtown to my family farm, and so I had a very specific kind of approach and outlook to what I wanted to achieve. So I got a helicopter I could take flight lessons in, and then be able to fly myself to the farm, and I was going to be a rich commodities trader and have my own helicopter. That was the plan.
Pretty cool.
But that didn't work as planned. So we and then in flying, like we talked about, everything organically started happening. But the flying part was really challenging. It was very hard to be good at it.
Yeah.
So that was one of the hooks, because I have to be like the best at anything I try to do. So I went for an intro ride, and it was like impossible. And I was like, I got to figure this out. And then it's really It's really, really unique because you can really explore with a helicopter. So you can go fly, and see things and go on adventures and do stuff that you can't really do with a plane. I mean, you're flying 500, 1,000 feet off the ground, seeing everything, and it's just like you take yourself on an adventure. So that was really cool. And I was unique that I had our family farm and some family members that live in Wisconsin and some things. So I had some places to go, places to go explore. So that part was really fun. And then it also was very freeing. You get up in the air. There's no traffic. There's no nothing to bound you by. You just, I'm gonna go over there. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to look at that. You circle and look at that. So it was really
cool.
fun.
You kind of look like him, but you probably now for sure get the Christian Grey thing all the time.
It has happened. I didn't even know what it was. Lots of girls, women in particular, would ask me, and I was like, I don't know what this is. But now I've at least been educated enough to know that it is.
They probably thought you were bullshitting them because they're probably like, you look like him, and you're like, so what do you do? I fly helicopters. And they're like, no, you don't.
I really didn't understand what it was. So now I have a slight idea. I still have never seen any of these movies or anything, but I have a slight idea of this situation.
I had not until the last 6 months, and then the last 6 months I've seen all of them, and I get why they call you him. No,
well,
so the race car driver in me needs to know this. What's the real difficult part of flying a helicopter versus an airplane? Is there something that makes it tougher?
Yes. So, two things. One really easy way to explain what it's like, which I'll tell you in a second. But when you're flying a helicopter, and one of the reasons why it's freeing is because you can't be distracted. So you have both feet on pedals to control the tail rotor. You have your left hand on the collective, which controls the power and the pitch of the rotor blades. And you have your right hand on the cyclic, which controls the direction you fly. And you have to move all three in coordination to achieve the effect you want. So point is you can't reach over and check your phone or I'm lost. Let me go look up where that airport is, or your hands are on the controls the whole time. So flight planning and being prepared, very important when you're flying a helicopter. And it doesn't allow you to be distracted. You can't look away or not focus. So, and for me, that's hard. I have a lot going on in my life. So to find moments where my brain isn't actually thinking about 100 things, it's very rare. So you have to be very focused, very prepared. And an airplane, you could hit autopilot and take a nap. You don't have to do anything. So very different in that sense. But the real challenge, the aerodynamics of an airplane are such that if you were to let go of the plane, it will fly and level itself. So imagine having a big bowl and you take a marble and you drop the marble in the bowl. It's going to go like this and settle in the middle.
Right.
That's like a plane. It'll settle. Now take that same bowl and turn it upside down and put the marble on the top of the bowl. And you got to move the bowl to keep the marble at the top. That's what flying a helicopter is like. It wants to roll off, and you're constantly adjusting to be in a hover or do what you want to do. So you have to be coordinated, and certainly be able to move all your body parts in different directions. So and that was the challenge when I went to fly. Hovering is very hard, and that was the challenge. That it was I suck at this. I gotta figure out how to do this better. So,
how long did it take until you started to get comfortable?
It was a good 2 to 3 weeks before I could
that's not that bad.
Well, trust me, that doesn't sound bad, but that's hours and hours in the aircraft until the instructor would not be on super alert with grabbing the controls from me.
That's got to be so. Being the instructor has to be frightening. So I sit sometimes as an instructor in a race car in the right seat, and it's frightening because I can't really control what the person's doing, but it's in a car, it's on the ground, and it's not just losing balance. I can't imagine being a flight instructor in a helicopter.
It is. I would not want to do it. It's funny you ask that question because I flew with some buddies of mine actually, and my flight instructor down to the Indy 500 a few years ago. We landed there and went to the Indy 500, and then when we were flying back, we'd flown down there, and it was the first time I think pretty much all of them had been in the aircraft or seen it. And then flying back, my friend Dan at the time, he said, well, you just hold your hands there. It doesn't look hard. I could do it. I'm okay. So we went to the airport, and we landed, and I jumped out, and he got in the pilot seat, and we put the dual controls in. So the instructor was there instructing with him. And they went out and hovered over the field, and the instructor gave him the pedals, so just move your feet and, side to side. It's like, okay. And then the collective, so he gave them each one individually to achieve the motion, no problem. Then he gave them all three at once, and helicopters all over the place, and like they had to grab it and land, and Dan comes out white as a ghost, like freaking out. So it is hard, but it's fun. So I always tell people that flying helicopters is a lot of fun. You have a lot of fun with it. You can explore. You're looking out at everything you're flying around. An airplane, in my opinion, is a little more boring. So for me, a helicopter is the way to go, and I want to fly it. If I'm going somewhere far, let someone else fly it. I'll sit in back and relax.
I got to scrape some pennies together. I am really wanting a helicopter.
If anyone gets a chance, just going to do an intro ride is worth it. I think when I did my intro ride, it was like $150.
Okay.
And that's why I was like,
I'm going to do it.
I'm going to go try this. And it was actually my birthday. And I woke up, and it was a Sunday morning, and I was like, this is going to be my birthday present. So I drove down and tried it, and that was it. So,
where did you go to try it?
At the time, I went to a flight school called Sun Aero, which was at Lansing Airport in Lansing, Illinois. I don't know that they're still there. Flight schools are rare in Chicago for helicopters just because there aren't any. It's not a popular thing here. So,
before I do that, I'm going to come take some of your tours.
Yes.
How many? We got some questions. And by the way, those of you who are watching, if you have any questions for Trevor and then Jamie, feel free to ask them. Maggie's asking, or she said, seriously, that is so cool. How many people can you take out on your helicopters?
Sure. So our aircraft carries 6 passengers. We go out and we fly the shoreline from basically McCormick Place up to Wrigley Field.
Okay.
That stretch would take about 3.5 minutes to do if you were flying at full speed. So we dial it way back and kind of fly slow as we actually can. And it's about 15 minutes that you're over the city, and with 6 passengers and 1 pilot. So there's 7 total in there, but 6 passengers.
Okay, cool. And when we spoke off air, you said you can kind of customize different things too for events. And
we have our tours, and we do day tours and night tours.
Okay.
Day tour is a bit more, it's a live narrated tour by the pilot. Day tour is a bit more focused on landmarks and seeing the city, and still a very fun experience. Nighttime is a bit of a different experience. The city's all lit up. It's really just beautiful. It's a lot of dates and date night sort of kind of vibe to it. Proposals. It really is. I love going up at night. Every chance I get, I still try to jump up and go on a tour because it's just like it never gets old. The city's always changing. Buildings are lit up different colors. They're writing things on the buildings. Like it's always unique. So that's our most popular tour. We'll book out 2 aircraft, 3 aircraft at night before anything else. So that's cool. Really fun. But then we do a lot of what we call experience packages, and we'll basically we have a bunch of set ones, or sometimes people will call in with a particular thing in mind they'd like to do, and we figure out how to facilitate it, and that's something we specialize in. So whether it's golfing, you want to take some clients and head to a golf course that you would otherwise never be able to do in an afternoon because of traffic and the drive time, we facilitate that. We do some unique boat packages on the river where you take a boat with some friends and have some drinks and some fun and go on a helicopter tour, wedding fly-ins, proposals. We have vineyard tours. I mean, you name something, we've put it together.
Awesome. I got a buddy of mine, Sean. He goes, how much is a helicopter asking for a friend? Sean could probably buy a helicopter. He's so rich. And actually, Sean just got a golf club or a country club membership, and he just took up golfing. So, Sean, the only way I'll come golfing with you is if you charter something through them to make me land at your golf course in his helicopter.
Yeah, we do a lot of golf course work in the summer. That's probably our most popular charter.
Really?
Yeah, we have some unique packages. We have a really cool package that is with Lost Dunes. I don't know if any of you golfers, anyone listening, but it's a really exclusive unique club in Bridgman, Michigan. So we'll fly you up there, you golf, you come back. It's a whole set package. So that's something we offer. But we pretty much fly into any country club in the Chicagoland area. As far as how much helicopter costs, you can spend all your money on aircraft as quickly as you'd like. So the particular ones that we fly new from the factory are about $3.7 million.
Just a drop in the bucket for you, Sean.
And you can get a nice used one for $1.8-2 million, something in that range. And aircraft are unique, though. They're not like cars. They fly forever, and you're constantly replacing the parts on them. So literally, you could get in an airframe that's from 1981, but it's got a brand new engine, and it's a new aircraft. You wouldn't even know it. So we have a very particular aircraft and very particular process that enables us to get 6 passengers in the aircraft and do what we do and be efficient. So my real thing, I think, that drove everything I've done is efficiency. It was inefficient for me to be sitting in a car for 3 hours. It just drove me nuts. And as a trader, as a commodity trader before, you made money by being efficient, by finding the edge, by being better than everyone else. And then now in running the business with aircraft, if you're not efficient with every second it's running, you will lose money so fast. Of course. Because the aircraft doesn't care. It costs money when it's running, whether there's people in it or not. So it's been a very big exercise in efficiency. So that's really what it's all about every day for us.
Awesome. And on that topic, any advice for somebody, maybe not trying to open a helicopter experience business, because I don't know if anybody else is going to go through.
I would advise you not to do it, because your life will be ruined. So,
competitors, right?
We are the only licensed helicopter tour and transportation company in Chicago. Okay. There are some people, there's one other company that just does the tours part, which is a lower threshold of regulation from the FAA. They can't do charters, fly people places.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, we are the helicopter company for the city of Chicago.
So those of you whose family members come in and you do the architecture tour and you've done it 2-3 times and it's boring to you now, book a helicopter through these guys. That's what I'm going to do. Anytime somebody comes
We have
through.
a bundled ticket with Shoreline. They're a great partner of ours. Yeah. So for what we do is the same price as our retail night tour, $178. You can take the Shoreline boat cruise and our helicopter tour.
That's
so
cool.
It's really really cool package that we sell a lot of right now. So we call it our you get to see the city from within it on the river, right, and then fly above it. It's a really cool experience.
So when you get on the helicopter, how long are you on there for?
The flight itself is about 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
The experience, the whole process is about an hour. Put you through a pre-flight briefing. We have a customer experience center that has sort of a history of the city. It has a flight simulator. It has it's an experience in itself, just going through that process. Then we get you prepped for the flight, loaded on the aircraft, the flight itself. So the whole thing's about an hour.
Very, very cool. I think I'm going to bring in Jamie Z, since it is a round table and she's chomping at the bits here.
I only have like 17 questions about this helicopter.
This is so cool. I think we could do 4 hours about helicopters. I mean,
are all these rates on your website?
They are.
And what is your website?
Our website is chicagohelicopterexperience.com. I'm excited that we are launching a new website on Monday, which has consumed my life for quite some time here.
That's a lot.
But that's a big accomplishment because it's quite savvy, this new website. And I also, in this whole process, built and developed our own software that does all the scheduling, weight and balance, center of gravity work to build flights. It sounds kind of technical, but basically what that means is we're the only company in the world that you can go online and book your flight just like you would for Southwest or United or anything, and it's done. You get your boarding pass and your flight's set, and you show up and fly. Everywhere else, you basically request, hey, here's how many people, and I'd like to fly around 3 on Friday, and then someone calls you back, and they got to find 4 other people to fill the flight, and then they got to run the weight and balance manually and make sure it works, and it's this whole process. And so a lot of what I did at the very beginning was flying with everyone else and finding the inefficiencies. Everyone was doing it by hand, and so we built the software, and that's a huge edge.
John's pointing at me. John, I didn't even
So if I only have 3 people and I want to go on the helicopter, you can do that? Like, will you team me with other people?
We do. You can put up to 6, right? But if there's less, we will group other people in the aircraft.
Cool. The weight. So I got a funny story. When I took my sister to Belize one time, and my dad and I had to deliver her to the study abroad program because my mom didn't trust that it was safe for her. She was in the middle of nowhere, Belize. And we took like a 3.5-hour lack of air conditioned bus ride all the way through the countryside of Belize, and it was like 200 degrees out. So we were like, well, we want to fly back. So we called this little airport, and it was like ring, ring, ring. The guy's like, hello. And I'm like, hi, is this an airport? He goes, yeah, airport. And I was like, do you guys fly from San Ignacio to Belize City? He goes, yeah. And he's like, how much you weigh? And I was like, I'd never flown on a little plane. I'm like, I don't know, 170 pounds. He goes, how much your dad weigh? I'm like, Dad, how much do you weigh? He looks at me, he's like, what? And I'm like, he's like, 200 pounds? He's like, how much your luggage weigh? And I'm like, you know what? We'll take the bus.
This is so extra right
so
now.
Weight is critical.
It's huge.
It is a huge factor in what we do, which is why the software is so important.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, when you go and you book with us, you have to put in your name and your weight, and then the software essentially takes the other people and their weights and groups people together in a way that it's a safe flight and that the weight is balanced evenly in the aircraft, and assigns them seats, and then sends boarding passes out and creates flight manifests for my pilots, and it's all on tablets, and the pilot actually has it in the aircraft and sees who's in what seat, and the weight and the fuel load is calculated, and it's a pretty powerful software that we built. And in doing so, another thing that just kind of happened, now some of the largest helicopter companies in the world want to license it from us.
I was
to
about
use
to
it.
ask you that.
It is our edge, so I don't know that
I'm gonna do that yet.
I want to do that just yet, but it's really cool. I'm pretty proud of it, and it's one of those things that I could have never imagined what it is today when I started. But as we just kept doing things and coming across problems, we're like, well, it probably could do that for us. Well, if we color code it, then you'll just know when you look. Well, if we assign, and over time, it's just become this beast that runs the whole company. So
kudos to you, man. I mean, to come up with the idea of doing a helicopter tour company in Chicago, going through 6-7 years of red tape, hoops, finally getting to a point where this is, I'm sure it was fun for you, but getting to the point that now you can focus on the business, doing the software side of it. You're an innovator, so this is super cool. I can't, John, I can't wait. John won't go with me alone. I was like, John, do you want to go on this helicopter tour? He's like, I'm not going with you alone. So now we know there's 6 people.
There'll be other people
Yeah,
on there.
I want to go.
People. We'll be okay.
Yeah. You can do a private flight. Finish answering your question.
Yeah.
If you want the aircraft all to yourself, like a lot of our proposals is obviously just the couple. So you can do a private flight. It's a bit more expensive. You're basically buying all the seats.
Yeah.
But we absolutely do private flights. Otherwise, we'll group 6 different people together. It's usually couples,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
2 and 2
Yeah.
into the aircraft, and they go on a tour. And it's actually one of the things that I like most about our product is I feel like today we're the most connected people ever, right?
Yeah.
Like you stare at your phone, but to like talk to a person in person is
Weird.
awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you go on the flight, we kind of make light of that in a sense. We go, okay, you're all going to be squished together in this helicopter.
It's
Like
tight.
get to know each other, talk,
Be friends.
and promote that. And a lot of people do come back and comment about how it was a fun experience because of the other people and being in there and communicating and just being real and in the moment for once.
Yeah.
So we really promote that.
I love it. All of you guys watching, go book an experience. This is super, super cool. And I think realtors, give them as closing gifts. I know we had spoken off air a little bit about this. I'm going to start to integrate this into a closing gift, because if you're moving to Chicago or your client's moving to Chicago, what a cool way to introduce them to Chicago, by helicopter experience.
Well, and the time is right now unique opportunity with Father's Day on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we're running a big special right now, $199 for 2 people for Father's Day. So it's on our website and our social and all that. But it's the best deal we've ever ran. So trying to get fathers out there to get a pretty cool gift this year and come fly with us.
That is super cool and perfect timing for everybody who probably has not got a Father's Day gift. For
No,
their
I
dad.
haven't either.
Yeah. So we're a great last minute gift. You just go online, put your credit card in, and then it's a gift certificate you can just give. You can use it whenever, or you can fly Sunday if you want.
That's so cool. So, Jamie Z, we're bringing you back on. Jamie was
Hello.
a guest of ours a little while back. We had
I
some
think it was on the
audio.
first episode.
Yeah, we did. We weren't able to run it live,
Yeah.
and we're like, we got to have her back on because you have more energy than anybody that I've ever
I
met
try.
in my entire life.
Funny.
So, tell everybody who didn't get to see your first show what exactly you do at ECS.
So I do business development for my company. I started in marketing, moved over to business development. So this is funny that we're talking about kind of thinking about your business and whatnot. So I was thinking, like, do you guys have like a salesperson or a business development person?
We do. We have a couple different worlds. I got a business development person in the tourism world, which is
Okay.
its own sort of beast, in the groups and events world, which is a different kind of
Yeah.
animal, and then in the charter world. They're very different clients, very different worlds,
Different
to sell
audiences.
in different audiences. So we have those kind of buckets that different people drive.
Because people like me in my role, like I'll have to plan client events. So
Yep.
when we were talking earlier, I was like, oh, it'd be cool to host an event at your facility. And now that you're talking about that you have like a little simulator whatever thing, that all
it's
sounds
fun.
like fun.
Yes.
And then you could see the helicopters.
Yes, and a lot of clients that come in and utilize us now, which is another thing that's just happened organically, they're looking for a way to get in front of whoever they want to speak to. And sometimes it's hard nowadays. There's lots
Yep.
of competing things to grab someone's attention.
So many events.
And they've learned that when they say, hey, show up and you get to go on a helicopter ride, people show up.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many people came and just said, we have never had this turn out ever, because you get invited to a helicopter event, everyone shows up,
So true.
and we stage it in a way, they present their product or whatever the message they're trying to get to their clients, and everyone goes on a tour, and it's fun.
Have you guys ever dealt with the Audubon Country Club in Joliet?
No, what I heard is
do.
awesome.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah, we've flown there several times, and they do cool events there too. And we work with some partners that use the track, like Extreme Experience.
Yeah, Extreme Experience is down there.
Good, very good friends with those guys, and Adam, the owner, and done some cool stuff with them. So
cool.
Yeah, we're always trying to work with the coolest.
I was trying to think, like, I just thought about that. I'm like, this
That's
would
where
go
you can
perfect.
drive a race car, right?
Yeah, so the Audubon Country Club is a country club for people to race cars. They have a bunch of different track configurations, a north, a south, a full. They have a go-kart track. They're building real estate there now, too, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, I think my boyfriend's old boss has like a house there with his cars.
Yeah, you can be like Raj Mahal's.
Yeah.
Garage Mahal.
Yeah.
Garage Mahal
Exactly.
is ridiculous
Yeah.
there. There's some $1.5 million garages, not including the cars, but they just put $1.5 million in the garages. So it's a pretty cool spot.
It is a unique place. So that's another example of just something cool and different that we try to put some sort of service around.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like on the charter side of things where you're doing big events, I mean, birds of a feather flock together. The super wealthy people who might go to something like that would really love flying in a helicopter. We were talking a little bit off air, Jamie, about networking, and you are like the queen of networking. You were saying your calendar's full.
That's kind of my thing. I actually have 2 events tonight. So I'm involved in a lot of different organizations, and kind of what you were going along. I go to networking events where I think my clients might hang out. It's hard to get in front of people. Cold calling is the worst. Who likes that? I hate it. So a lot of times I'll check out events and I'll ask if I could see the guest list of people who are attending, and you can kind of see who's going to be in the room and then stalk them when you get there.
So with the events, how do you learn an event exists? Is it organizations you're a member of or random stuff?
Both. There's different like newsletters and e-blasts that I get, and a lot of times I'll join ones and they might have like an events calendar. So then I get notifications.
Oh, cool.
I mean, I get so many random like newsletters, and I just put all the events on my calendar. And then like when the time comes to sign up, I pick like the cool ones or the fun ones or the different ones.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm involved in a bunch of different organizations. Earlier we were talking about the WCA, West Central Association. It's basically the Chamber of Commerce for the West Loop. Everyone knows the West Loop is booming from a real estate development standpoint. Developers are my main, someone who wants to build some sort of building is my main client.
Sure. Well, my company used your services.
I know. So that was so funny that you said that. I was like, oh, I'm going to have to tell them that.
Yeah.
It's a small world. It's a
How
tiny
did you
world.
find these? Yes. Just someone randomly referred
I
them?
have a fantastic construction manager who has managed to figure out all the loopholes and pitfalls of trying to build an airport in the city, and he highly recommended ECS, and so that's who we went with.
Yeah, because to get like total nerdy stuff, engineering stuff, an NFR letter, no further action, because a lot of the sites that are available right now in the city are contaminated really bad.
Yep.
So you have to find loopholes to be able to build on them and not cost a lot of money.
You guys probably had to do the storage tanks for fuel, right? So that was you had to go fuel there.
We had both sides of the spectrum. We had the land to clear it with so that it didn't have environmental issues,
right?
Uh-huh.
And so that was a process. And then on the other side of it, we were doing some things that pose potential environmental issues, and to come up with spill plans, containment, and removal, and a lot of procedures and policies we had to have in place in order to get approved. So it was there was a lot. I had to learn a lot of things.
Yeah. What's the furthest you can fly a helicopter?
The
furthest you've flown?
The range on our aircraft with full fuel is about 300 miles. So that's like going to Green Bay or St. Louis or Indianapolis, Detroit. Just some perspective there, Springfield. But what we don't typically quote out a flight over 125 miles because once you get beyond that, it's much more cost effective, much more efficient to take an airplane. It'll be a lot cheaper and a lot faster.
You had mentioned landing or going to O'Hare, taking your helicopter to O'Hare.
Yeah.
They allow you to land at O'Hare?
So I went and it took quite some time, but got a lot of agreement with O'Hare now. So our company can fly people into O'Hare and land there and drop them off for their commercial flights. And it's pretty cool. We're actually starting to get more and more of it. My goal in time and growth of aircraft is to be able to offer shuttles to O'Hare on a daily basis for about $80 a person.
Oh my God. That would be
That's
crazy.
like an Uber.
It's 7 minutes versus an hour and a half.
I would drive to the
OMG.
city in traffic just to sit in the helicopter and fly myself to O'Hare.
So right now I'm putting together shuttles to the North Shore, to the city from the west suburbs.
Wait, where to the North Shore? Wheeling?
Lake Forest area. No, from a helipad. And we have a lot of cool things coming up that in particular it'll benefit, but ultimately the end goal is to have daily shuttles basically during high traffic times, rush hour, right, to and from the city from a few key points. So you could get in your car, drive 10 minutes over to the helipad, park your car, jump in the helicopter and be downtown in 10 minutes, do your meeting, go to your board meeting, go to lunch, go to the Bulls game, go to whatever you're doing, and catch a shuttle back up. The practical application is I got to get down for something at 6. Well, good luck.
Yeah.
Use us to get down at 6. Take an Uber back at 10 at night when there's no. So we're working towards that. But near term, we have Lollapalooza coming up, so we'll be running shuttles down for Lolla. We have Goo Goo Dolls is performing at a concert out at Aaron Moore Farms in Oswego, Illinois. It's a polo farm, like horse competition polo playing. So we're running shuttles from downtown. You land right next to the stage, the concert venue. It's really cool. VIP ticket, all inclusive.
So cool.
I don't even listen to Goo Goo Dolls, but I might.
I know.
buy tickets to
It's
go
the
fly in.
experience. It's $500 per person and includes your VIP ticket, all you can eat, all you can drink, helicopter ride there and back. It's really pretty cool. And we're hoping to expand upon this concert series to some other big names in the future with this partnership. So that
What
would
about
be great.
Summerfest?
Summerfest, we can go up to Milwaukee. We do that often. And
It's coming up.
that is coming up. That's another example. So
Country Thunder.
efficiency and the whole anything that's tours is where you make money because the aircraft's full all the time and constantly flying, paying customers.
Yeah.
So the shuttle routes is really where I want to get that company headed towards. So shuttles to O'Hare, the North Shore, where there's grouping several people together and you're moving them back and forth. Think of like Uber Pool, but like for
I
helicopter.
mean, it makes sense. So for me or any business owner, you have to figure out what your hour is worth. So, you make a certain amount of money, you figure out what your hour is worth. I sit in traffic for 2.5 hours a day.
Yeah.
If I can dump that down to 15 minutes a day, then I've saved 2 hours worth of my time. And so long as that 2 hours
the
is
value
made up,
proposition,
it's perfect.
Yeah.
Set aside the cool factor. It is very cool
Yeah.
to just fly places, but that's amazing.
It's and it's coming. So we got a lot of interest. We will a lot of other things in the pipeline. So my time now is more spent on developing the next places we can land.
Yeah.
And then just getting people in the door to fly. So in time, our goal is to have a network of access points essentially. And to develop shuttle routes through at key times that make sense. And with our technology, we're able to, in the exact same way as Uber, just go on your phone and grab a seat and you're on your flight.
So cool. I'm gonna go learn how to fly a helicopter so that I can be a pilot in my off time. I'm sure becoming a licensed helicopter pilot is probably really difficult to do.
It's
a lot of hours.
It took me 8 months. Like anything else in life, the amount of time and energy you can put at it will dictate how long it takes. And getting your license isn't necessarily the challenge. Getting the flight time and experience to be hired for a real job, if you will, is a bigger challenge. So, little snippet that I never realized either. When you go get your pilot's license, whether it's fixed wing or helicopter, your instructor is someone who just got his license the week before.
Whoa.
So you're being taught by a 200-hour inexperienced pilot.
Someone who just went through the process.
Because that's how he gets his hours. He can't afford to go fly for 1,000 hours. No one's going to hire him 200 hours we fire 1,500 hour or more pilots. So how do you go from 200 hours, where you got your commercial pilot's license, to 1,500 hours? Well, you got to go find someone that's willing to pay you to fly. Who's that? That's me that needs to take lessons.
Holy shit.
So did you do this?
Yeah. No, I didn't have to,
'Cause you didn't have to,
fortunately.
'cause you had your own.
But that's how it works in the U.S. and in Europe. It's the exact opposite. The highest paid job is flight instruction.
Wow.
And in the U.S., the entry-level job that just gets you your hour, your time building, they call it, build your hours so you can go out to the market and have a better resume. You do flight instruction for 1,000 hours.
Boy, are we negligent
almost
here
kill
in the
yourself
United States.
and that's how you get your experience, and then you go get a job. So
We are so negligent in the
I'm
U.S.
going to Greece next month. I'm like, wow, why didn't I do a helicopter?
And that was shocking to me. You're walking in and you're thinking, I'm going to have this gray-haired guy that's been flying for 20 years and he's teaching me how to fly. And you're like, you're 5 years younger than me. Like, what's going on here? And that's the way it is.
Crazy. I mean,
I've been super fortunate because of my business that I've been exposed to some of the most experienced, amazing pilots out there, and then in doing so, all of my team, everyone that flies for me, gets exposed to different people, but it's an interesting world. It's
you have to be a lot of word of mouth, right? For a lot of people that are coming in for like the charter specialty.
It is a lot of word of mouth to this point, and that's where now I'm trying to shift, raise awareness, which is a big effort, expensive effort. and in doing so, drive more people through the door. So I always tell my team right now, if I walked out your doors and walked down the street and asked 100 people, I'd be shocked if 5 people knew who we were. We need to flip that. 95 people need to know who we are, and 5 don't know.
Yeah.
So that's the mission now.
I definitely think you should be targeting the real estate industry.
I mean, I think for us, I mean, he is. We spoke about it a little bit off the air. He is definitely targeting it. For us, I know my business partner, Jeff, was watching along. It says he is watching. So what's up, Jeff? See, I have a shout out. It's not cool like yours, a birthday or he's watching. I think this will be so cool for real estate. And I also think what he said, if that shuttle service can take off, there are so many people who are business owners that commute from different areas.
That's what I'm
7
saying.
minutes is
Like
insane.
you are like, oh, come to my event. I work out in the burbs or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't get out there. Guess what? We're gonna meet here, get on the helicopter, fly to Milwaukee Fest,
Right.
and then come back.
Yeah.
Well, I think about it for myself, again, particularly in the North Shore, as I'm working on the approvals of these sites, I have to go there all the time,
Yep.
which is miserable
Yeah,
to
you're
drive there, and
sitting
I
in the
hate
car.
it.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm like, there's got to be more people like me that would pay, $100 to get downtown in 10 minutes for whatever they got to do.
I'm going to screenshot you
So-
so many of my photos that said, I wish I had a helicopter. I wish I had a helicopter on
I have a
Facebook.
serious issue. I mean, you ask my assistant or anyone that works for me, I literally have standing rules. I don't go anywhere before 10 a.m. or after 3:30, period.
Yeah.
I don't take meetings away from the heliport. I don't agree to any commitments around rush hour. Like, people that know me won't drive with me. Like I can't handle it. To me, it just
Such a
seems
waste
so
of time.
inefficient.
Such a waste of time.
And I could be doing so many things.
Yeah.
So I really try to avoid it. And now I'm trying to build a network that you don't have to. That you can
Right.
still get up to the North Shore at 6 o'clock, and you don't have to plan your whole day around it.
Yeah.
You know?
I find myself doing that now because
Yep.
when I lived in Streeterville and I was 10 minutes away from the office, I didn't care when meetings were. I won't do office meetings before 10 a.m.
Yeah,
Same thing.
you
Because
can't.
if I want to get there at 9, I got to leave at 7. But if I want to get there at 10, I leave at 9:15. So
Yeah.
it's crazy. Now, driving back, being in real estate, sometimes I'm just stuck in traffic. But you're right. There's so many people who probably, they
plan their
have to
life
be
around
there
it.
at 9
Yeah.
o'clock, and they don't have a choice.
Yeah.
And they're probably paid a handsome sum of money, but they're like, shit, I got to be there at 9 o'clock. And sure enough, drive starts at 6:30.
And like you said, it's all just a value proposition. It's not going to be for everyone, but if your the time value is
Yeah.
there for you, and there's that aspect of it. I also think there's a big reach just in more of the experience side.
Yeah,
Hey,
so cool.
4 of us are going to the Hawks game. Like, let's take a helicopter down. It's just cool.
Yeah, it's very
doesn't
cool.
really matter about time necessarily. It's just the experience of doing it. We have a dinner flight package where we pick up 6 people from anywhere within 40 miles of the city. So if it could be your yard if it's big enough, or a local golf course, or an airport if it's close, whatever. And we fly you downtown. You land at the heliport. You take black car service over to Chicago Cut. You have a 4-course meal. It's all set, $2,400 for the 6 of you. And so
$2,400 each or total?
total. Yeah, so super affordable, relatively
That's
speaking.
not bad at
I
all.
could spend
So those are like experiences we're trying to create and get out so that people are basically demoing a charter,
Yeah.
right? They're flying down to the city in 10 minutes going, whoa, that was easy. And then having a great experience, and hopefully in their mind they go, wow, I should take some clients to do this, right? So that's the idea.
Sean, if you're still watching, Saturday
This
we're
is
taking
so
a helicopter,
cool.
but it's landing in my backyard, not yours.
Yeah.
Your yard's too small, so it's landing in mine.
So do you have to call the local golf course and be like, hey, we're going to land at your thing at this
We
time?
generally speaking have a agreement now with every country club, golf course. If we don't, it's a phone call to the GM. Hey,
What about Bolingbrook?
Bolingbrook, I think we do.
My boyfriend lives in Naperville. That's why.
Yeah, Bolingbrook has an
I
airport
think that's like
too.
the closest.
So they have a little
That's right, they have a
airport
little
there.
airport.
But that's the thing, and that's the challenge now. Is how does everyone know that's an option?
Right.
Man, should I take my guys to the Cubs game or this or that, or
Yeah.
my family's in town, and trying to make it accessible. To put it in perspective, it's unfortunate that Chicago doesn't have any other helicopters. A, because no one knows how much better we are than the whole world, but then B, our price comparison, there isn't anyone to compare against. So we are the lowest price per minute helicopter company in the world.
Wow.
But that's because I own the land, I own the fuel, we own the aircraft. It's all my employees. There's no third party. It's my airport, so there's no landing fees, there's no per passenger fees, there's no fuel surcharge, there's
This
no
is just
airport
crazy.
fees. So I cut out all the fat.
So cool.
So that enables us to offer a really affordable price, relatively speaking, to other markets. So our same tour in New York is about $298 a person. It's $158 here in Chicago.
Wow.
But they have to pay fees to the heliport they land at, per passenger
Yep.
fee and fuel surcharge, and they pay $8 a gallon for fuel. I have my own fuel tanks at $2.50 a gallon. So that was all part of the business planning, though.
Genius.
Recognizing this and saying, okay, well, if I don't control the fuel and this and that, I can't get the margins to where it makes sense to do it.
Yeah.
So it's sort of all or nothing. I either get the heliport approved and the fuel, and if I can't, then it's not worth building this helicopter company.
Crazy.
So
it was, you
went
went
all
through so many bigger, tougher steps and had to create, you had so many more roadblocks, but it feels like what you've built now has longevity to it, whereas what you said in New York might have some longevity, but the margins are small,
right.
So any shift could really hurt
it
them.
was, I see this a lot now that, and whether it's our own employees, people who were interviewing for jobs, to other business owners, I won't get a penny. I don't get a paycheck for probably till year 10.
Yeah,
so this is a super long-term investment and time commitment. But then the payoff is larger than any other use of my time I could imagine.
Of course.
And that's something that I don't think anyone looks at nowadays.
Yeah.
They want tomorrow. And it's like, okay, yeah, you could stay where you're at and make more tomorrow. You could come here in 2 years, make 6 times what you make there. But tomorrow. And it's like, that's not the way that I've approached it. If someone said, hey, if you kill yourself for 10 years, you could probably make some money. Most people are like, that's goofy. No, why would I do that?
Well, you've probably done the same thing.
Yeah, it sounds like you started some businesses and that that path you got to take until you reach that tipping point where it starts to pay off.
Yeah, 100%. People think, my business partner at Main Street and I, we don't take income really. Everything is reinvested back. I work other jobs. I have my law firm and other things. And that too, for 6-7 years, I was making almost no money. Yeah. But we just keep reinvesting back. And you're right. Most people want their satisfaction tomorrow. They don't realize that you got to bust butt for a decade. I'm a decade into this now. And
that's okay. I tell people all the time, I say, decide who you are. It's not for everyone. Yeah. I tell people all the time, it's not for everyone. You may be happier and better off having your task to do every day. Yeah. And do it really well and be proud of it and go do your job. Or you may want to run all the tasks and the whole team doing it and be willing to make sure everyone else gets their paycheck and everything else gets handled and you're last on all fronts. Yeah. And so that's been an interesting thing too. A lot of people will say well, you're the boss. So, why do you have to go to work center? You're the boss. And it's like, okay, you really don't get it, do you?
I work all day, every day
nonstop. So
wait, so does Trevor have a girlfriend? I want to know.
I
want to know how
poor guy is put on the spot here.
I don't have a lot of time, to your point, and it's been.
You have a girl that's a friend or a girlfriend?
I have.
Oh my God, John!
Friend that's a girl.
Next week when I'm not here, you should just have her questioning.
But no, it is. That's part of the sacrifice, though. For real. It's all of my friends are married. Some of them have kids. They all have houses and lives. I don't have any of that. I told someone the other day. I think the only thing I own is my couch and my bed. I have nothing, but I don't, I have 52 employees and I have something
got a
else.
lot of helicopters.
That's my children and wife and my life, so that's a choice. And eventually I'll get to the other stuff, but it's hard and it's not fair is more the situation. So there's certainly people that would be great partners or girlfriends, but I can't. Right now, the company's everything. It wouldn't be fair to even date someone. So
well, and he's got helicopters. He looks like Christian Grey. So
he
doesn't have to have a girlfriend. Jamie, before we got, and we're John's waving at me like we're out of time because we're at an hour. Again, we could have done this for 2-3 hours.
I know. You're this whole time is just so
fascinating.
So crazy.
Well, I'll have to come back. You guys have to come out maybe.
Yeah, for 1,000,000%
Yeah, I would
out.
Love to do an event.
Yes.
So we should definitely talk, or you can put me in touch with
I will absolutely do that.
I think that would be so fun.
There's a lot to talk. There's a lot of angles, but it's been it's always the one thing I always tell people. It's I'm very grateful that I'm not just sitting at a desk. I literally don't know on any given day what I'm going to have to deal with, what's going to pop up, and there's a part of that is challenging in the sense that it's unstable. But there's also a part of it that I'm well, thank God. If I knew exactly what I was going to do every day, all day, I would go crazy.
I'm exactly that same way.
It's a good balance, I think.
Well, thank you for coming on. Kudos to you. The concept, the business, your struggle. It's all fascinating, amazing. I cannot wait for the shuttle. I am 100% a customer.
Well,
I am
back on to
100% a customer of this Chicago cut thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And definitely going to do this on the real estate side.
Cool.
It's super cool. And for everybody else listening, you guys got to check this out. Check out the new website on Monday.
Yes. The website's up now. You can go and the Father's Day gift certificates are there. And if anyone listening, a simple email to info at chettours.com. CHE, like Chicago Helicopter Experience, chettours.com. So info at chettours.com for anything. Any info, tour, group,
Cool.
charter, dinner package, and my team will get back to you.
That is so cool. Jamie, we're going to have you back on again. I mean, I think you got excited about the helicopter.
I did, because I want to do it.
Super cool. Next week, guys, I am going to be hopefully coming to you guys from the magic of Skype, because I'm going to be in Virginia racing on Wednesday, or at least testing on Wednesday. So this will be the first time we're actually going to do a me somewhere else. I think we're going to have good old Ryan Cotter starting off the show. I will hopefully have some really good famous race car drivers there to talk to people too. I'll give you guys a tour of what goes on at a racetrack if we can get the video and audio to work. So bear with us next week. John and I have been playing with Skype and playing with being in 2 locations, so hopefully that works. Next Wednesday at 3:00 again. Thanks for watching, and this was one of the coolest shows we've done, John. It's number 10.
Number 10.
Right.
Have a good one, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
In 3, 2, 1.